Alright, so here we are again, Japan Trip 2016. This video's a little long. I've noticed already in putting it together that it's close to 20 minutes, and I apologize for that. But this is actually going to be days 7, 8, 9, and 10 of my Japan trip. We finish off Osaka, where we go to Universal Studios, and we go to Fujisawa, where we're going to go to Kamakura and see something kind of cool there. And then we're back in Tokyo, and we get to hit the streets of Akihabara, which is kind of cool. And we get to visit Ueno Park. So that's kind of the big things that happen in this video. One thing before we get going, I have this one video that I forgot to add into the end of the last one, and I just wanted to show you guys. It's actually in Osaka. There's a river, and along the river at night, they actually light a whole bunch of lanterns, and I thought this was really cool, especially once I saw it, because it really showed the fusion of Japan's culture. It's old and new. It was like kind of stepping back in time, but still being able to see the present. So I'm going to get started with the video and show you guys that now. Alright, now that that's out of the way, on to day 7 of my trip to Japan. We are still in Osaka, and this time we went to Universal Studios Japan. So there's that. Alright, here we are at Universal Studios Japan. Apparently it's the 15th anniversary or something. So as I said in the clip, Universal Studios Japan was celebrating their 15th anniversary, which is kind of cool. Also, while we were there, they were doing a Shonen Jump summer festival thing, which was also tying into the new One Piece movie that's coming out shortly, or has already come out, I'm not actually sure. And in the next clip, I'm going to show you my very, very, very One Piece themed lunch that I had at Universal Studios Japan. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, my phone being full of pictures and videos and stuff, I didn't get a lot of stuff from Universal Studios. Also, it wasn't a lot of new stuff for me because I've seen it already in Orlando and California. So I didn't really do a lot of stuff from there, but I know that I have 2 viewers at least that are very interested in Harry Potter, so I give you Hogsmeade. And right next to Hogsmeade was Hogwarts Castle. And that's it for day 7. After Universal Studios, we went to a Bubba Gump Shrimp, which is an American company based on the movie Forrest Gump, because apparently he gets a fishing boat with an army buddy or something. It's been a really long time since I've seen the movie. After that, we kind of just went back to our hotel and went to bed, because it was actually fairly late by the time we got back. The next day, we went to Kamakura. We took the longest train ride ever. We left our hotel in Osaka around 9:30 in the morning, and we didn't arrive in Kamakura until 3:30, I think it was. Then we took another local train from the town of Fujisawa to the town of Kamakura. We wandered around for a while, saw some cool stuff. I took lots of pictures, but for whatever reason didn't get any videos except this, which I basically just took to show that we were on a very steep incline the entire time we were walking around Kamakura. Really cool town out. It's not a major town. It's very rural. Really pretty. Lots of shrines, temples, stuff like that. Most of it was closed. But the really cool thing about this town was every year they have a lantern festival. And it looks something like this. For 2 or 3 days in early August, the main shrine in Kamakura has hundreds and hundreds of lanterns made by various people. It's a whole bunch of different people making that did the designs on them. And they line all the pathways. There's some gardens with them. The lanterns are all throughout town, and even once we got back to Fujisawa at the end of the day, there were some there. Really cool. And I guess I can also I can try to show you what happens at night. Unfortunately, the video is really dark. My camera was having trouble focusing on stuff, even though it actually wasn't that dark when we were there. Alright, due to all of the traveling, day 8 was kind of a bust. This is basically all we did. I'm just going to wrap it up with 4 more clips. The first clip is a shrine that me and my sister found that was a little bit out of the way, kind of off the beaten path. The second clip was part of the ceremony that took place during the Lantern Festival that we actually got to watch. The third is some of the Miko, some of the temple priestesses lighting one of the lanterns, and the final is actually the train that we took from Fujisawa to Kamakura and back again, because it's actually one of the original trains. Alright, this video hasn't gone too long, so I'm going to keep going. This is day 9 of our trip. We left the beautiful town of Fujisawa, which, as you probably noticed, we'd only stayed for 1 night. After that, we returned to the city of Tokyo. Now, not much happened on day 9, which is also why I'm throwing it in here, but I am going to show you this. This is cool. You don't get to see mine. Now, those 2 clips together are where we had our lunch. As you notice, it's extremely tiny. It was actually up on the 2nd floor. The main floor was kind of a bar area. It was literally just the kitchen where the guy was cooking, and then a piece of, or like a bar, and then some stools. So very tiny place, but the food was absolutely amazing. You saw what I had there, chicken katsu and ramen, and my meal, as big as it was, cost me less than $10 Canadian. So amazing food, very inexpensive, and we're gonna keep going. Now, that right there was Akihabara coming out of the JR station. Akihabara, for those of you that don't know, is an extremely nerdy place where you can get just about anything related to current Japanese culture, fandom, whatever. There were stores with video games, stores with figurines, stores with plushies, trading cards, basically anything you can think of. Me and my sister, we walked through the area, and after being there for something like 5 hours, we'd gone through 3 stores. And it wasn't so much because of all the stuff they had lots of stuff, but it was because of the size. Some of the stores were huge. We found a 9-floor department store for electronics, where the 6th floor was kids' toys and video games and puzzles, so many puzzles, stuff like that. So that was basically all we really did on day 9. Parents kind of took a break, and me and my sister went and shopped in Akihabara. I bought a book, so, you know, big spending day for me, I guess. And that's actually all I did for day 9. We're going to keep going. I'm just going to get this all out here. Day 10 was actually a little bit more exciting. We were still in Tokyo, our last day in Tokyo before we head up to Nikko tomorrow. And we went and we got to see Ueno Park. Now, Ueno Park is a huge park in the middle of Tokyo. But one of the coolest things there right now was actually what I am about to show you right now. Now, this thing was actually really cool. It was actually a pavilion set up in the middle of the park where they were talking about the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, because that's where they're going to be in 2020. One thing that was cool, like you could sit and you could watch the Olympics that were going on right now, but then in between times when the Japanese weren't competing, because obviously we're in Japan, so they're going to be watching the Japanese athletes performing. So when they weren't, they actually had videos describing what they were going to do for 2020 and where they were going to hold their events and different things like that. And it was actually really cool because the Olympics had apparently been here in 1964, and most of the buildings that had been built back then are actually still in existence. So they are planning on reusing a large portion of the buildings that they had for the 1964 Olympics, which I think is really cool. And it kind of goes to show the Japanese culture and how they don't really get rid of the past. They build on it, which I think is something really awesome. After that, we wandered around Ueno Park a little bit more. The heat was actually pretty intense today. More than one of our group of 4 got heat headaches and a little bit of heat exhaustion, so we kind of didn't do too much, but we did get to see this cool shrine right here. Now, this this shrine was actually really gorgeous. It had been built in the 1600s, dedicated to the current shogun, the guy who actually had just united the country. Really cool place. One thing, though, that really hit me was if you look back at that clip right around the middle of it, there's some really brightly colored stuff kind of a little ways away. I didn't realize it at the time of taking the clip, so I didn't think of it, and I was actually so blown away by it that I literally didn't even think to take a video after. But there's actually a small flame burning there, and that's actually a flame brought from the peace torch in Hiroshima that's lit to remember the people of Hiroshima, and as a way of asking people to disarm nuclear weapons, and that the peace flame will only be lit until all nuclear weapons have been removed from the world. Really cool thing. But what I also found out, which I didn't know before, was that the peace flame in Hiroshima actually comes from a fire that had been created by the atomic bomb dropping in Hiroshima during World War II. a man came back to Hiroshima to try to find his uncle. All he found was a destroyed building and a fire. So he took a piece of that fire, small chunk of debris and whatever, and he actually brought it back to his hometown and kept it burning. And that flame that he had eventually became the peace torch in Hiroshima now, which is really cool. So the fire that is at this temple is also part of that, which I was just blown away by that. Leaving that shrine, we were walking down the path in the Ueno Park, and we got to see this. So that was extremely random. There was literally just a group of street performers standing in the middle of an intersection in the park, balancing really high up in the air on chairs. I didn't get it in this clip, but eventually he actually tilted the chair, went up into a handstand, and then brought his legs down to the side so that they were even with his head, let go of one hand, and was balanced on one hand on the top of like 6 or 7 of those chairs, with the last chair at an angle, which was insane. But anyway, after that, we kept walking down the path, and we ended up going down this path right here. That eventually led us down a path to a local pond, which is a really big tourist site. It's right on the edge of Ueno Park, and what's really cool is actually how it looks, and I'll show you that right now. So basically, the entire surface of the pond, except for a very small piece, was actually covered in lilies. Big lilies. And the lily pads and all the flowers and plantage that goes with that. So it was actually really cool to see because you couldn't even see the water, mostly. After that, we went and had lunch. We were all very tired, so we went back to Akihabara. Bought some puzzles, and then we hung out at the hotel and we did puzzles. So I put together one. It only took me a little bit, but this is what it looks like. I guess I will. Now, what makes this puzzle really cool is that it is more than 250 pieces. Not a lot of pieces, but the puzzle was only 25 centimeters long, or something like that. It was a very small puzzle, so very small pieces. I also put together another puzzle that was 150 pieces and the size of a postcard. So that one was also very small, but I was really tired and I forgot to get a picture of it or a video. So it's put away, and I don't know when I'll be doing it again. But anyway, that wraps up day 10. Tomorrow we will be heading out to the town of Nikko. Apparently it's a more rural town, more kind of relaxing and less high-paced. So that'll be kind of cool. And I will get back to you guys as soon as I can.